Hi, and welcome to week 4 of our virtual summer library program, Tales and Tales. This week we're going on a Storytime safari. A safari is an overland journey where you're searching for or hunting for wild animals. And today we're going to be searching for some great stories. As we read some stories about these animals, we're also going to learn some things. For example, that the elephant lives in a herd. And elephants are usually very peaceful animals, but they will fiercely defend the baby elephant in danger. So they live in family groups called a herd. And then there's the cheetah, which is the fastest animal in the world, fastest animal on land. The giraffe, which is the tallest animal on land. Cheetah. And the lion. We know the lion is the king of beasts. It is the most fearsome animal and has the title of king of the beast. So all of these animals are in this book, African Critters by Robert B. Haas. And that's a great introduction if you want to learn more about these kinds of animals. We welcome you back to this week, and we hope you'll enjoy your craft this week, which is making a lion mask. You can make it this way so that your face is the mask, or you can create your own face. Also, you have this green activity packet with a lot of cool things to go along with this week's program. So we hope you are excited to go on this Storytime safari with us today, and we are excited to have you with us. Our first book today is How the Elephant Got Its Trunk, a retelling of the Rudyard Kipling tale by Jean Richards, illustrated by Norman Gorbady. And this was published by Henry Holt and Company. And it's a very interesting story of how the elephant got its trunk. Once upon a time, in the days before the elephants had trunks, when they had only bumps for noses, there lived a little elephant who was very curious. She always asked lots and lots of questions, and since she was very polite, she always said, "Excuse me, please," before asking. There is one thing the little elephant really wanted to know. What does the crocodile eat for dinner? She had already asked her mother, her father, her sister, and her brother, but they would not tell her. So the little elephant decided to pay a visit to the tall giraffe, who was eating some leaves growing at the top of the tree. "Giraffe," she called up to him, "Giraffe." "Oh, it's you," sniffed the giraffe between mouthfuls of leaves. "What is it this time?" "Excuse me, please," said the little elephant, as politely as she could. "Can you tell me what the crocodile eats for dinner?" "You don't want to know," said the giraffe gruffly, and he moved on to the next tree. But the little elephant just had to know. So she went to ask the hippopotamus, who was bathing in the lake. "Hippopotamus," she called. "Yes, elephant, what can I do for you?" Hippopotamus said kindly as she swam toward the shore. "Excuse me, please, but could you tell me what the crocodile eats for dinner?" Hippopotamus gasped and swallowed some lake water. "Never, never ask that question," she said, and slipped back under the water. The little elephant walked off sadly into the forest. Just then she heard the strange high call, "Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola." She recognized it as the Cola-Cola bird. "Cola-Cola bird," she called. Out flapped a beautiful large bird with brightly colored feathers. "Please tell me, I have to know. What does the crocodile eat for dinner?" "Go to the banks of the great gray-green, greasy Limpopo River, where the crocodile lives, and find out for yourself," replied the Cola-Cola bird. "The Limpopo?" asked the little elephant, just to make sure. "Yes, the Limpopo," squawked the Cola-Cola bird, and it flew off into the trees. So the little elephant set out for the great faraway gray-green, greasy Limpopo River. As she walked, she sang a little song. Off I go to the Limpopo, the Limpopo, the Limpopo. Off I go to the Limpopo to see what the crocodile eats. Soon the elephant got to the jungle. She heard the chattering noises from the high in the trees. What could it be? It was a whole family of monkeys swinging in the trees. Hi, little elephant, they called. Do you want to play with us? Not now, thank you, she said. I have no time. The monkeys waved down at her. The little elephant wanted very much to wave back, but she had nothing to wave with. So she simply smiled up at them and continued on her way. The little elephant came to a clearing and stopped in her tracks. Something was moving in the bushes right next to her. Then she heard an awful roar. What could it be? Out stepped a huge lion. As soon as the little elephant saw the lion, she knew he was a friendly one because this lion was smiling and waving at her with his long, swishy tail. Again, the little elephant wished she could wave back, but she had nothing to wave with, so she just smiled and kept on walking deeper and deeper into the jungle. Finally, the little elephant came to the banks of the great gray-green, greasy river called the Limpopo. She sat down to rest. Then she saw two eyes peering out of the muddy water. Can you see that? And a long snout. What could it be? It was a huge crocodile. At last, the little elephant could get the answer to her question. Excuse me, please, she said politely. Can you tell me what you eat for dinner? The crocodile looked up at her and winked one eye. I can't hear you too well, croaked the crocodile. Come a little closer. The little elephant kneeled down on the riverbank so she could get very close and ask again a bit louder. Excuse me, please, what do you eat for dinner? If you come closer, whispered the crocodile, I'll tell you. The little elephant got very, very close. Suddenly, the crocodile grabbed her little bump of a nose and growled through its teeth. I eat little elephants for dinner. Oh, help, cried the little elephant. She sat back on her hind legs and began to pull. She pulled as hard as she could, but the crocodile would not let go. The little elephant kept on pulling, and as she pulled, the strangest thing happened. Her little bump of a nose began to stretch, just like bubble gum. It got longer and longer, and she pulled so hard that finally the crocodile had to let go. With a plump and a splash, the crocodile fell back into the water. Whew, that was close, said the little elephant, and she sat down to catch her breath. Wait a minute, what's this strange long thing where my little bump of a nose used to be? At first, the little elephant didn't like her new trunk at all, but soon she discovered that she could do all sorts of wonderful things with it. When a mosquito landed on her back, she could swat at it with her trunk. When she saw a bunch of ripe yellow bananas hanging high in the tree, she could pick them with her trunk and put them right into her mouth. When she felt hot and sticky, she could sloop up some nice cool mud and put it on her head and let it trickle down behind her ears. If she wanted to wash it off, she could give herself a shower. The little elephant was so excited that she decided to run back home to show all the other elephants her new trunk. On the way out of the jungle, she passed the friendly lion. Now the little elephant had a trunk to wave with, so when the lion waved at her, she proudly waved back. Then she passed the monkey family. They were eating their dinner. Would you like to join us, they called. I can't, said the little elephant. I'm in a rush, but thanks anyway. And she waved her trunk at them too. When the little elephant got back, well, it was almost home, she lifted her trunk high in the air, and the most amazing sound came out. She found she could also use her trunk as a trumpet. Ta-da! Ta-da! When the other elephants heard the trumpet sound, they ran out to see what it was. Imagine their surprise when they saw it was their very own little elephant with a beautiful new trunk. You look wonderful, they said to her. Where did you get your new nose? I got it from the crocodile in the Limpopo River, she answered proudly. So, all the other elephants decided to go to the great, gray-green, greasy Limpopo River and have their noses stretched too. And that is why elephants have trunks today. At least that's the story. Do you believe it? Our next story is Giraffes Can't Dance, written by Giles Andre and illustrated by Guy Parker Reese, and it's published by Orchard Books. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked, and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold a jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rocked and rolled. The lions danced a tango. It was elegant and bold. The chimps did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought. "I'm useless. I feel like such a clot." So he crept off from the dance floor, and he started walking home. He had never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Then he found a little clearing, and he looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket who had seen Gerald earlier on, "but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song." Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you, and everything makes music if you really want it to. With that in mind, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways. He swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. "I am dancing. Yes, I'm dancing. I am dancing," Gerald cried. Then one by one each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer we've ever seen." "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love."